Okay, welcome to the deep dive.
We're really glad you're here with us today.
Yeah, so today we're kind of embarking on this journey,
Mm-hmm.
right alongside you,
Mm-hmm.
and focusing on what it really means to grow
Yeah.
as individuals.
And also how to build relationships, the kind that genuinely, well, nourish us.
That's right. Think of this as your maybe personal shortcut to understanding how you can consciously shape a life that's filled with purpose.
And connections that really matter.
Exactly.
We're your hosts for this. I'm Biba Dur.
And I'm Max.
And I'm a certified life and mindset coach. I've spent years helping people, particularly women who are navigating life's second chapter, helping them break free from what holds them back, really, and step into their power.
And from my side, I'm fascinated by how we connect, like not just with partners, though that's huge, but also with ourselves.
Oh, absolutely.
It's all about creating those strong, safe spaces,
Yeah.
Inside and out.
Yeah.
Welcome to this deep dive. Today, we're looking at something that really seems to hit home as we get older, especially maybe in our 40s and beyond. It's this journey, really, of understanding and embracing who we truly are.
Yeah. Figuring out what shaped us.
Right.
And how to live more, I guess, authentically, especially in relationships.
Exactly. And it's funny because for a lot of us, the idea of just being yourself can feel surprisingly hard, maybe even risky after all these years of playing different roles and, meeting expectations.
It really can. It's often not as simple as it sounds. We spend so much time adapting.
Which brings up a question I bet many of you listening have thought about. Have you ever felt that kind of disconnect between the real you, deep down, and the version you show the world, especially the people you're closest to?
Oh, definitely. That internal tension. It's something I see constantly in my work. And, a lot of it traces back to those really early lessons we learn about fitting in, about getting acceptance.
Okay, let's get into that. Because it really does feel like, from way back, there's this drive, almost automatic, to get approval.
Mm-hmm.
And often, it seems like that happens by, squashing down what we actually feel or need, like as kids, maybe learning to put on a smile instead of showing you're upset.
Or just nodding along when you disagree. Staying quiet.
Right.
And the thing is, these weren't like conscious decisions made with all the facts. They were more like survival skills, learned responses.
Survival skills.
Yeah.
Yeah, a kid isn't thinking, is this authentic? They're thinking, how do I stay connected? How do I feel safe?
Exactly. Will showing this feeling and make things worse? Will I lose that connection?
That's such a key point. And what's wild is how these old tracks, these patterns, just keep playing out in adulthood. Often totally unconsciously.
Yeah, we find ourselves still filtering what we say, worrying about the reaction before we even speak.
Or hiding emotions so we don't seem, difficult.
Or avoiding conflict, even when something feels really off inside, it goes against your gut.
And the result of all this adapting, this filtering, things can get blurry, can't they?
Totally. You can start to lose that clear connection to who you actually are underneath it all. You might even start questioning your own motives, like, am I saying this because I believe it or because it's expected?
And it's not just in your head, is it? There's often a physical feeling that comes up when you're about to say or do something that feels, off, not quite you.
Oh, absolutely. That resistance you feel in your body, maybe when you're thinking about being more honest or vulnerable.
Yeah.
It's often more than just nerves. Think of it like an echo, maybe, from times when being truly yourself led to something unpleasant. Silence, maybe, or judgment, or feeling like you push someone away.
You almost feel that tightening, can't you? Like your body's hitting the brakes.
Yes. It's trying to protect you. And it's so important to see that not as weakness, but as an old protective instinct kicking in. Which leads to a really powerful question to sit with. Does pushing down your own truth to keep someone else comfortable, does that actually hurt less in the long run? Or more? How often have you maybe betrayed yourself, really, for the sake of keeping the peace?
Wow, that's a heavy one to consider. Because outwardly, things might look okay, you're getting by, relationships seem fine, but underneath, there can be this feeling of emptiness, right? Something missing.
Exactly. There's a real cost to not living in alignment with yourself. And this brings us to another really powerful emotion that often keeps us stuck in that inauthenticity. Shame.
Shame. Yeah. That feels like it goes way deeper than just worrying what people think, doesn't it?
It really does. Shame isn't just, oh, I hope they like me. It's that gut feeling, that core belief that says there is something fundamentally wrong with me.
Right.
It's not just fearing dislike. It's this conviction almost that if they saw the real me, the unfiltered me, they'd reject me completely.
So it acts like this huge wall stopping us from being honest, like an invisible hand pulling you back right when you're about to be more open, more free.
That's a great way to put it. And shame often shows up physically, too. You might notice it, right? Your voice starts to shake when you try to say something really important to you.
Or your throat goes dry.
Your stomach clenches.
Yeah, or tension in your neck, shoulders get stiff. Maybe your hands even tremble a little.
It's like the body is physically remembering past hurts, isn't it? Times when expressing yourself led to criticism or being ignored or maybe even being laughed at.
Precisely. And the really tricky thing about shame is how it can feed itself. It makes you withdraw, which reinforces the feeling of being flawed, which makes it harder to connect. It just silences that inner voice.
It really makes you think, okay, how do we start to untangle this? Because there's often this idea that you have to wait until you're not scared anymore before you can be authentic.
But here's the twist. Courage isn't about not feeling fear. It's about deciding to act even when the fear is there.
Waiting for the fear to vanish completely? That's usually just a delay tactic. Fear often doesn't actually shrink until you show yourself you can move forward with it.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Because fear, like we said, it's a protection system.
Right.
But it's often triggered by old stuff, by memories,
Yeah.
not necessarily by what's happening right now.
Exactly. And there's a difference between just knowing about courage intellectually and what you might call embodied courage, feeling it in your body.
Embodied courage.
Yeah.
What does that mean in practice?
It means noticing those physical signs of fear, the racing heart, the tight chest, acknowledging them, and still choosing to act in line with what feels true for you, with your values.
So you're not fighting the fear or pretending it's not there. You're just not letting it drive the bus.
Yeah.
You give some examples, like everyday examples.
Sure. It could be starting that difficult chat even though your chest feels tight, or saying no to something, even with that lump in your throat. Or maybe sharing something vulnerable personally, even if your hands are a bit sweaty. It's about not letting those physical feelings stop you from doing what aligns with your core self.
It sounds like learning to tell the difference between reacting from fear, like maybe snapping back defensively,
Yeah.
and responding from that quieter, deeper place inside, that impulse of the heart you mentioned.
That's a really key distinction, yes.
Yeah.
And this whole idea ties directly into the concept of visibility, but maybe not visibility in the way we usually think about it.
Right, because visibility often makes you think of like work stuff or being online, social media.
Yeah, marketing yourself or something.
But you mean something deeper.
Much deeper. True visibility, in this sense, is the courageous choice to let the world see who you genuinely are. Your actual voice, your real beliefs, your emotions, your passions, even just your physical self.
Without all the filters.
Exactly, without excessive filtering. And knowing, really knowing, that comes with the risk of being misunderstood. Or even rejected.
And that kind of raw visibility,
Mm.
that must stir up some really old, deep fears,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, absolutely, because it pushes right up against those times, maybe from childhood or past relationships, where being truly seen did lead to something negative. Criticism, maybe, or having your dreams dismissed.
And the body remembers that.
The body totally remembers, it learns. Being fully myself, potentially unsafe. So you get those automatic pullback reactions we talked about.
So the subconscious tries to help by cooking up reasons to stay hidden. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm not quite ready, or I need to learn more first.
Precisely. Or even outright sabotage. You forget things, you lose files, you suddenly get sick before that presentation. And underneath it all, often is that familiar feeling of shame.
And that's where those masks of safety come in, like trying to be perfect all the time.
Yes, or always staying neutral, never taking a stand. Or keeping that professional distance even with people you know well. Or maybe using humor to deflect.
Self-deprecation, yeah.
These aren't personality flaws, you see. They were survival strategies. But the really empowering thing, especially as we get into our 40s and beyond, is realizing survival doesn't have to be the main goal anymore.
We have more choice now.
We have more choice. We can choose to live more authentically, to be more truly visible, even if it still feels a bit wobbly or scary sometimes.
Because ultimately,
Yeah.
the world doesn't need another perfect, polished mask. It needs the real you.
Exactly. Your unique way of seeing things, your actual voice, your heart. That's the real contribution.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, thinking about this whole journey of becoming more ourselves, especially in midlife,
Yeah.
it really seems to come down to recognizing these deep patterns, doesn't it?
Mm.
Patterns born out of needing to belong, needing acceptance, and being understandably afraid of vulnerability,
Mm.
and then gently starting to question them.
That's it. It's a process, right? It's ongoing. Discovering yourself, accepting yourself. It often means looking back at those old lessons and consciously choosing little by little to try a different way now.
So maybe a final thought for everyone listening. As you go about your week, thinking about what we've talked about today,
Yeah.
maybe one small step you could take, something perhaps just a tiny bit uncomfortable,
Yeah.
to honor your true self, even in a small way.
It doesn't have to be huge. Maybe just a moment of checking in with yourself more honestly, or expressing something a little more authentically than usual. Every small step builds that muscle, you know? It builds momentum toward a life that feels more, well, more yours. Okay, so welcome back. We've spent some time today digging into this whole idea of a personal revolution.
Yeah, and it's maybe not what you first think.
Right.
Not some huge overnight thing.
Exactly. It's more about seeing growth, seeing change as just constant, always happening, a part of life.
And look, if you're listening to this, chances are you're already, on some kind of path.
You're probably aiming for something, or maybe just trying to figure things out a bit more.
Or even just wanting like a bit more meaning day to day. It all counts.
So, yeah, as we kind of wrap things up here, the big thing to hold on to, I think, is that this process, this personal revolution stuff we talked about,
It doesn't really stop.
it really does it. Every single day kind of throws up new angles, new opportunities to learn something or shift a little.
For sure. And if anything we discussed today kind of clicked for you.
Sparked an idea.
Yeah,
Huh.
exactly.
Yep.
Or maybe made you want to actually do something, then, run with it. Keep that feeling going.
Absolutely. And hey, if you are looking for like more regular nudges or practical thoughts on this,
Keeping that growth going.
yeah, keeping it going. We genuinely love it if you subscribed, follow along.
That way you won't miss out when we explore other stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, we really do appreciate it when you share these chats or leave a review.
Oh, definitely. It seriously helps other people find this, people who might get something out of it too.
Plus your feedback. Always good to hear what lands.
Totally. Now, okay, if you're feeling like taking maybe a more focused step,
Like something specific.
yeah, particularly around, say, understanding your relationships a bit better, we actually have a free quiz for that.
Ah, right. The quiz, the link's in the description for this deep dive, right?
Yep, right there in the description.
And it's pretty quick, yeah. It's designed to maybe just help you spot some of the patterns.
The underlying stuff, yeah, and how you connect with people.
Right. And maybe show you where even like tiny shifts could actually make a real difference.
Mm-hmm. It's amazing sometimes, isn't it? Just pausing for that kind of reflection can suddenly light up things you just hadn't seen before. It's all part of that revolution we're talking about.
It is. So, yeah, don't hesitate. Go check out the quiz if that sounds useful.
The link's right there for you.
And just remember, this whole journey, this personal growth path, your personal revolution, it's happening inside you.
Every day.
Every single day. It unfolds from within.
Well said. Thanks so much for diving deep with us today.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one.